what your down payment is today, 3 years is going to be that much more. And you're losing the equity. So at least this way you're in the market. Right now, we're seeing multiple offers on rental properties. And we're seeing rental rates increase as there's a lack in certain areas. So you're paying as much on rent as you'll pay on a mortgage.
You need to have someone behind you who knows exactly what's going on in the marketplace. And Jason O'Keefe is the CEO of Real Home Experts, happens to be a person who knows exactly what's going on with the competitive nature of real estate. Let's talk, Jason, about renting versus buying. The pros and cons. What does someone who is debating, should I buy, should I rent, what do they need to know?
Well, the first thing I would always suggest to just about everybody, I would be buying a house. It doesn't mean you actually have to live in that house. You can actually use it as a rental property. So, perfect example would be somebody in Toronto who can't afford to buy there. Maybe they can afford to buy in the Waterloo region or Oshawa or Barrie. Buy a house there, rent it out to somebody else. That way you're still in the home buying market.
So you're talking about investing, investing in real estate is what you're saying. And so for people who are watching, who are saying to themselves, yeah, but I can't come up with a down payment. What are some things that you recommend to people who want to get into the real estate market, but just feel like it's unattainable?
So we actually deal with a few different companies, even some rent-to-own companies, where you'd be amazed that you only need about $10,000 down. They'll start you off with rent-to-own programs where you do that for 3 years. They'll help you build up the down payment income. And while you're doing it, at least you'll own the house, even though you're renting it, because you pick the house and you get to move into it. So that's a great option for somebody that doesn't have a massive down payment, but that might be a good starting point, because right now in Ontario, as house prices continue to increase 3 to 5 to 6% every year, what your down payment is today, 3 years is going to be that much more. And you're losing the equity. So at least this way you're in the market. Right now, we're seeing multiple offers on rental properties, and we're seeing rental rates increase as there's a lack in certain areas. So you're paying as much on rent as you'll pay on a mortgage.
I think that's the important distinction, because rents have gone up. I'm sometimes surprised to hear how much it actually costs to rent someplace. And I say to myself, well, gee, if you have to pay this in rent, how long has that been going on? Because it used to be that it was cheaper to rent a place than it was to buy, but now it's either equal or maybe even a little bit more to rent.
Yeah, and we're seeing that, especially just outside the GTA area, we're seeing that more and more. More people are leaving Toronto to move out this way, just for quality of life. We're seeing because of the pandemic, and they're pushing the rentals up and they're pushing house prices up. So, we have other people looking at, hey, maybe I buy a house up in Owen Sound. It's going to cost me a lot less. Again, renting it out up there, but they get in the market and they see the increases, and then that'll build up some equity and some down payment money to buy maybe down where they're living in Toronto or somewhere else, right? So you want to look at different options. The only reason I would rent, A, income, 2 might be I'm just moving to an area and I'm not sure where I want to live. So maybe I'm going to do a short-term 1-year rental. But you're also seeing a lot of landlords are now selling the properties because they can't increase the rent. So they're just basically selling the property underneath you. You think you're saving because your rent's lower, but now you're going to get kicked out and you're going to pay the really high rent. So it's a little bit more stability too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the idea of building equity, is obviously very enticing, and from a long-term perspective. Are there any other pros to renting, or are you solidly on the side of you got to be investing in a home?
I think in Canada now, 75% of people retiring rely on their house as part of their retirement package. So it's a major thing to do. The only other reason would be if you're just taking on a new job, you're not sure about that. A lot of people it's overwhelming and anxiety based. So they're not sure what's going to happen with their job and where they're living. So that's where I would say, take your time, maybe rent again for a year or two. I'd be looking at owning it and how fast I can. And if you're not able to do it today, work with a professional to put you on a plan to do it. But I've been working with some companies recently that are really good. And if you put in your energy and time into a rental, you're not going to see any value out of it. But on the rent-to-own programs, if you are good at doing work around the house, there's a system where you're set to buy it at a certain price, but if it's increased even more because of the work you've done, you're going to see the value. So there's some great companies, and you can contact us about those.
So Jason, there's some great pros and cons that you've given there. Renting versus buying. Sounds like going toward the place where you're buying your maybe your first home is what you'd recommend. And there's some obviously programs out there that can help. So if people want to get in touch with you and find out who you might recommend for rent-to-own programs, how do they get in touch with you?
You can always reach out to us at realhomeexperts.ca, or you can give us a call at 519-783-7314, and we'd be happy to answer those questions and put you forth with either a mortgage broker or a rent-to-own program.
Thank you so much for painting that picture for us.
Thank you very much.